Hello, my beautiful souls. You are listening to the Messy Human Tarot. And again, I'm in my office, aka my car. So I'm Ruby. I always want to say Ruby Tuesday, whatever that's supposed to mean. Maybe it's my connection to Tyr. I love the Justice card, which is kind of funny. You know, I've been doing I do this every now and then. I do a nice little deep dive into the tarot on and off, and I re-explore things, I reconnect. I just kind of like try to like develop a new or a deeper relationship with the tarot, and I haven't done that yet with the Justice card, but it's on my list. And we think about the Justice card like okay, so easy interpretation, like where you can get clues from it. You can just like kind of like think to yourself like, okay, like what does this mean? Scales, like weighing things, you know, like light as a feather, right? And sometimes we want to be light as a feather. We want to make sure that our karma doesn't weigh us down in the next life. So there's many different ways of looking at that. But like if we look at Tyr is a really great way of having a quick understanding of the Justice card. If you're having trouble remembering what the Justice card is, just look at Tyr. Tyr is a god about, I would say, like he loves fairness. He's all about right action. You know, with his buddy Fenrir, he knew he was lying. He knew that he was doing something kind of shady. To him, it was right action to put his hand in the wolf's mouth. There was an equal exchange of karmic debt payoff. So that way it wouldn't follow him into the next life. And we may say, well, Fenrir was this way and that way, and when we talk like that, when we think like that has a problematic karmic weight to it. Specifically, definitely in thought, but later on what happens in actions. No one is just a black and white representation of humanity. Like, you know, no one's just exactly evil or wholeheartedly good. We all have our flaws. We're very multidimensional. And when you separate people into good versus bad, you are more likely to villainize. You're more likely to turn them into these bigger than life villains and You're more likely to dehumanize them. And that can lead into you taking on actions that are not fair or right. They're not right actions. So if we look at this karmic theater play that the gods are playing out to teach us a very important lesson, if we look at the Justice card, it's be careful of the actions you take. Be really mindful of how you view other people. Because how you view other people may lead to actions that you're going to have to rectify later, which is very costly in itself. So if you look at the Temperance card, that allows us to have an even keel, like you are even. you're neutral, or like, again, you're even tempered. So that's easy. Like, you're calm, you're relaxed, you avoid impulsive decisions, you are careful about the nuggets that you get, like gossip. You might be like, you're like, yes, you may listen, but that doesn't mean that you think, oh, that person's evil because so-and-so said that. You might say, there might be some information I'm not aware of. I worked in an office where you can tell the people who love spreading gossip and love eating up the drama. And when I hear that, there's a part of me that loves the drama. But I remind myself, going like, you only know part of the story. You do not know it all. And it's arrogance to believe that I know exactly, in a black and white, one-dimensional way, who that person is. That's arrogance. And arrogance can lead to very painful mistakes. And as a mother, I do not have as much time, energy, or even money to waste on these hefty mistakes. So I have to really, really be even tempered. And it's so funny, like, I have these baby tarot cards for my kiddo, and he keeps pulling up the temperance card, and I laugh about it because it's silly, it's funny, it's so goofy, it's delightful. But he's right. So it's so important for us to use our coping skills, right? So we can stay in that place. Like, for me, I like my automatic writing. What I'll do, sometimes I'll look at the tarot and I'll like read and write, and then automatic writing will kick in. And then these really beautiful messages will come in. I'll feel really good, really inspired, and distracted from the drama or the pain or the negative thinking. And so I find my place in this really beautiful, tempered spot. And then when I hear the drama or other people with their negative thinking narrative, I think, well, that's where they are right now. You were there before too. So you really cannot blame them for that thinking. Or, I think there's another layer to the story. I don't know all the details. I really, really should be mindful of how I judge that person. Just because so-and-so says that person is such and such does not mean that is true. And this makes the justice card easier to work with. Because if you, honestly, if we want to utilize justice card energy the most effectively, you do have to have the temperance card energy with you, because it can easily flip and turn into the reverse form of it all. And you don't really want the reverse form of it if you're running around in your own life, right? Because think about it. If you're running around with the reverse justice energy, what is that? What is that? That is you creating way too much karmic debt that you may not be able to know what to do with. That means you're running around impulsivity, spewing around the mouth, saying hurtful, painful things, thinking there are no consequences to your actions, and acting like other people don't have feelings. Maybe you say hurtful things, or you're aggressive on the road. There's all kinds of things that can happen that can make your heart heavier than a feather. And even think about it, like being hard on ourselves, that doesn't make your heart light as a feather. You're calling yourself all kinds of names. Your heart is going to be heavier than a feather. And when we are thinking about the justice card, how we treat ourselves and how we view ourselves, we really should think of it as that we are trying to even the scales. We want the scales to be even, because seeing ourselves in one way or another, thinking way too highly of ourselves or way too negatively is not the way to live life. You cannot live a fair life, a right action-filled life, if you think everyone is the enemy or if you're always doing wrong. If you like anything you hear, please comment, like, and subscribe. You can definitely check out my services down below. My office hours are Sunday, Monday, which means that's when I'm most likely to respond. Doesn't mean I do respond on other days, to my email, to my Facebook messages on the Messyhumandoula, to my Yelp messages. I am not very good at checking Etsy, honestly. You're better off at, emailing me beforehand, and then we set something up for you. But, yeah. I'm multitasking beautifully, by the way. That was a really good pause, because now I can say, hey, check that disclaimer. You're responsible for it, because I am not a replacement for good therapeutic, medical, legal, or financial advice. I am only entertainment value only, and you can drop whatever doesn't fit your life. Don't force things to fit. It doesn't fit for a good reason. Now, for whatever reason, the number 2 was really relevant today for myself. Polarity. Yin and yang. I remember as we were talking about having an even-tempered and the justice card, evening the scales, and being careful of dehumanizing people and seeing people in a one-dimensional way where they're black and white. Polarity is a unification of sorts, usually. At least I like to see it as that, because you see this partnership going on. You have to commit to something. You even may have to make a contract to something. Maybe you are marrying yourself. For whatever reason, there's a commitment to yourself going on here. I think that's important for us to commit to ourselves. Yes, social responsibility to the world and to others is important, but right now I feel like that you need to be a queen. And I see Queen of Wands. You want to be inspired. You want to pursue the things that make you happy and you feel joy in. Embrace what makes you happy. When your well is full, then you can think of social responsibility. Again, the justice card. The scales need to be even. If you are going way too far in the other direction of social responsibility and not refilling your well, you are no good to anyone. You're no good to anyone. You'll be tapped out, numb, burnt to a crisp. And we see that a lot with social workers. They get burnt out fast. You see that a lot with RBTs. You see that with a lot of people who work in the mental health, behavioral health field, in human services. It is a constant problem, and a lot of it is because they do not refill their well. It is okay to prioritize yourself. Being selfish is good for you and everyone else. And I feel like we should stop villainizing people who choose to think about themselves, right? There's a reason we take breaks and why it's illegal for companies to try to get away with taking your breaks away, because it dehumanizes you. You become this robot. That's why it's illegal to do fraud and steal from people. There's a lot of good reasons why harming yourself for the pursuit of others, that's useless for anyone that comes into contact with you. You can do more good when your well is filled. All right, for whatever reason, they're saying it's time to wrap up sooner than later, and that's totally okay. Sometimes these messages, they're very spontaneous. I'm like the page. I'm very spontaneous. I'm like the fool, very spontaneous. I like to see, but the night, I like to feel things out as I go. Like, do this forward movement, but I don't always know where we're going with these messages, with these episodes, and I really love it. And I'm not gonna lie, if you see my description, she's like, what's this about? I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember. I did the reading, and so I'll remember something and I'll put it in the description. So you're like, why are these so random? It's like, it's because, like, I blank out. I did the thing and the thing is done. Yeah, so that's why. But yeah, like, we are done. You did beautifully, by the way. Yeah, I guess I could tell you a little bit about myself and to wrap it up. So I'm Ruby, by the way. I'm a medium. I am a medium, specifically an augur witch. And I used to label myself as a tarot reader, but very often the way so I had this weird aha moment today as I was, I'm not kidding you, like I'm in the loo, going like, why do I get these weird messages all the time? Like, really randomly, like, and I'm thinking to myself, and it's like, because I'm listening to the universe in the loo. Not kidding you. All right, I know, but it's funny. It's hilarious because I make myself laugh a lot. And I was imagining the universe, God, taking my order, and he's in the chef outfit, and he's like, all right, you sent back the burger, and now you apparently want another order. And he's like going, by the way, I love your hair. He's giving me a reality check while also being really nice to me, saying like, okay, but come on, let's get some clarification here, girl. Like, your life is in order. You have to focus on what makes you feel good, man. And like, I don't remember when it was. It was like roughly like a year and a half ago. I was getting these crazy messages, like constantly. And it helped me really manifest like a lot of cool stuff. And it's happening again. And I'm like, what? It's awesome. I love it so much. It makes me feel really good inside because I'm like, oh my God, Tinkerbell, by the way. Oh, not kidding you. Tinkerbell, fairy. Well, we could talk about that another time. But in Trust the Process, by the way, they kept popping up a lot today with Trust the Process. But right, So the way I do things is a blend of in the moment, but also to carefully tracking what's going on. So like, it's like a longitude study, but not, because really what I'm doing is I'm getting a sense of the vibes, and it's easy for me to individualize things, because depending on like if you get your order, like during that day, I'm tracking what I notice, right? And then sometimes like in the flow, things will pop up. And so it's very individual. So I can give you a bit of like the collective energy and what the universe specifically has for you. And I love it so much, stinking so much. It's so much fun. I never know what I'm going to get. And I get these really cool messages, like the Justice card, like the Temperance, like Two of Cups even came up today. We didn't talk about that. But I'm like, what? So much came up, like I was writing it down. And I feel like at some point I have to take time to sit on my computer and do a more like a different kind where I'm looking at what I write, because I would love to do a YouTube episode on that stuff, because some of it's really interesting. Like, it's fabulous. And I find my life so enriched by these messages. Because when I feel the most lost, scared, and alone, the universe will come in and say, hey, Zatiel just told us you're feeling really, like, you're having this difficulty right now, and you're feeling really uncomfortable right now with what's going on in your life. And I'm like, yeah, I really do. And well, Zatiel also just said that you brought this up and this up. And I'm like, and like, yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? I'm like, well, I just feel kind of like drained, and I'll go through some stuff, and it's like, well, it's okay for you to want to be alone and have alone time. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to socialize with other people. Like, that's how you refill the well. You're a social introvert, girl. That means in order for you to want to socialize with other people, you need alone time. And and they also do mention, like, part of your psychic gifts benefit if you spend a lot of time by yourself, because I do a lot of, like, research, and when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I do a lot of heavy duty research about anything and everything. And they said, like, your intuitive guidance system is kicking in, and it's helping it go. It's helping the flow, because you need a data system, like a library in your brain, and you need to refresh it. And it's like food for you. It's mental food, and it's really hard to explain. But they said that it helps me. And they said, like, in order for you to be as effective as you want, you actually do need to do this stuff. Like, this is so important for you. Like, if you're not doing this, the stuff you do is just not as good. And I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah, because you're like, it's like almost like you're stale bread. I'm like, okay, I'm stale bread now. I'm like, well, we didn't mean to insult you, but yeah, you're stale bread. And I'm like, but, and they're like, just chill out. It's okay. You just need to have a little more balance in your life. That's all you need. That's all you need. You just need to take time for yourself more. And I'm like, okay, if you say so, God. And I'm like, yeah, we're saying so. So that's a little bit about me. I have these energetic conversations with them, and it's quite lovely. It's really quite lovely. I love it. It's fun, actually, when you communicate with God on a regular basis. Like, the call outs are pretty comical, actually. God has a good sense of humor, I find. Seriously, like, there's some pretty funny stuff out there, and they'll do whatever they can to get your attention. Like, they're just funny. But yeah, like, I know I'm supposed to be wrapping up, but I'm having a good time talking, and I had this other insight, and I said, I bet you part of the reason why I am a medium is because I love talking. You know what I mean? And I'm because of my divine connection to the universe, things just, like, I used to be like, I just say shit, whatever I would say, right? And you have to be, like, for me, that's how I work, is words just flow. I allow the universe to speak through me, and I say what needs to be said. And sometimes I do have to learn to shut up. That's the truth. Sometimes I need to learn to shut up. But it's hilarious. And so I thought, that's why I'm a medium, is because I love talking. So that's, you know me a little bit better now, huh? And I would love to wrap up, but I mean, I would have to be quiet. Yeah. You're like, you're an introvert. How are you an introvert? And I'm like, well, I can be really quiet. Like, I can really be really quiet. And that is when I'm in my Zen mode. Yeah, No, it's true though. It really is. But yeah, I probably should actually really wrap up this because, I feel like we got a lot of completions coming up soon, and I still got a lot of meditating to do. I still have a lot of automatic writing I have to do, research. There's a lot of stuff I have to do because something's coming up soon, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to get more of a sense of it. And so you can probably really enjoy what these episodes are going to be like. And I strongly advise you, like, think of this stuff as timeless. Yes, general, but timeless specifically. So you can, like, tune into this at any given point in time. Because as an Augur witch, and, I love to, have a record for what happened, because it will repeat itself more often than not. That's what happens. We go through cycles, and things do repeat. So if you land on this and it's not the correct time, then you're probably in your own cycle, and what's going on is connected to this. And yeah, so you're on the right path regardless. So I better actually turn my mouth off. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to me. May I meet blessed be on into good health. And you've all been a blessing. I know some of you may not be feeling that way, but you are. You're God's divine manifestation. He pooped you out. Bye!